Module 3 is about hardware and software. Internet of Things devices are built from hardware components and software components working together. So you don't design them in isolation, you design them together to make it more efficient. So we'll talk about these hardware components, software components, and how you partition the behavior of the system. So how do you decide what part is implemented in hardware versus what part is implemented in software? So for instance, hardware is typically used to handle physical interaction, the interaction with the physical world. The sensors and actuators are hardware components, typically. Also, hardware is needed to do dedicated hardware would be needed to do things that are more computationally complex. Whereas software is used to do the control and also slower things, human interactions, things like this. So we'll talk about the hardware and the software and how you design them together. We'll talk about the different types of hardware components that are typical that you find in these systems. Talk about the software design process too, compilation, interpretation, that sort of thing, and how they come together inside a microcontroller. Now, in more complicated Internet of Things components, you use an operating system, and people are already familiar with what operating systems are, but they mean something a little bit different in the context of Internet of Things devices. So we'll talk about operating systems and talk specifically about operating systems that are appropriate for an Internet of Things component.